In this module, we are going to discuss about thermometric titration. Let us understand the concept of thermometric titration. Each chemical reaction involves an enthalpy change that leads to change in temperature. Thermometric titration is a type of enthalpy-metric analysis because this technique utilizes the enthalpy change of reaction to locate the endpoint. What is enthalpy change? Enthalpy change means the amount of heat evolved or absorbed in a reaction carried out at a constant pressure. Basically, in thermometric titration, the temperature changes during the reaction is due to heat evolved or heat absorbed by the reaction between the titrant and analyte. In this titration, the titrant is added at a known constant rate into analyte until the completion of the reaction is indicated by a change in temperature. Thermometric titration is also defined as titration in an adiabatic system, which gives a plot of temperature versus volume of titrant added. Generally, the graph obtained in this type of titration is similar to the graph of conductometric titration, potentiometric titration, and amperometric titration. Let me discuss the principle behind the thermometric titration. In the thermometric titration, titrant is added at a known constant rate to a titrant until the completion of the reaction is indicated by a change in temperature. The change in temperature of the reaction solution is plotted against the volume of the titrant that is added. The endpoint is determined by the sharp break in the titration curve. That is, the endpoint is determined by an inflection in the curve. Endpoint is generated by the output of a temperature measuring device. The conditions which we look into to do thermometric titrations include: thermometric titration must be carried out under adiabatic condition. That is, heat should not be exchanged between the system and surroundings. For that, a thermally insulated vessel is required. Here we use Dewar flask where the analyte is taken and the titrant is added from a thermostated burette. Reaction should be takes place only in a single step. Heat of dilution of the reaction should be negligible. Let us go to the next one. Instrumentation of thermometric titration. The thermometric titration assembly consisting of some components. We discuss one by one. Precision fluid dispensing device. It contains the automated motor driven burette for the addition of titrant and other reagent. The assembly consisting of thermometric sensor, that is thermistor. Thermistor exhibit relatively large changes in electrical resistance for small changes in temperature. It is capable of resolving temperature changes as low as 10 to the power minus 5 Kelvin. Thermometric titration assembly also consisting of adiabatic vessel which is closed. Its capacity is 100 to 200 ml. The purpose of using adiabatic vessel: there should not be any heat exchange between the analyte and surrounding. Stirring device also present in the assembly. It is used to stir the solution in the adiabatic vessel without splashing. Thermometric titration assembly consisting of Wheatstone bridge. It measures the unknown resistance in the form of temperature. The important component in the thermometric titration assembly is computer with thermometric operating system. Thermometric interface module which regulates the flow between burette, sensor and computer. This is the schematic representation of thermometric titration. This is the automated motor driven burette. This is stirring device. This vessel is thermally insulated. To the stopper there are 3 openings. One is for tip of the burette. Second one is for the stirrer. And third opening is for thermistor. This is thermistor and this is Wheatstone bridge. Thermistor is connected to this side of the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge contains dry cell with 1.1 voltage. When this switch is turned on, 1.5 voltage applied across the Wheatstone bridge. Wheatstone bridge gets activated, then the bridge measures the unknown resistance in the form of temperature. What is the methodology of thermometric titration? We have to take the analyte in the thermally insulated flask. The amount of analyte should be such that the volume of titrant required should not exceed than 3 ml. The temperature difference between the titrant and sample should not be more than 0.2 degrees Celsius. If it is more than 0.2 degrees Celsius, then the small heating element is used in the titration vessel which provides heat to the sample up to the temperature of the titrant. Later on, start adding the titrant from the burette at a flow rate of 0.1 to 1 milliliter per minute until the completion of the reaction is indicated by change in temperature. We have to keep the titrant usually 100 times greater than the reactants to avoid volume correction and to minimize the temperature variation between the sample and titrant. Then the range of temperature changes 0.1 to 0.2 degrees Celsius. Therefore, the accuracy of the thermistor to measure temperature should be 10 to the power minus 4 degrees Celsius. Let us go to next one. Interpretation of curve obtained in thermometric titration. This is the curve of thermometric titration. It is obtained for the titration of boric acid with 0.26 molar NaOH. Here 20 ml of boric acid with 0.00393 molar is taken. Let us go to the discussion of how to interpret the curve. This is point A. It is observed at the beginning of the temperature reading. This is line AB. Line AB indicates the trace of temperature of solution before the addition of titrant. If the line AB shows marked slope, it indicates that there is a excess of transfer of heat between analyte and surrounding. At point B, the addition of titrant begins. The line BC shows the gradual evolution of heat when titrant is added to analyte. This point C is the endpoint of titration. Line CD may show the slope up or down, depends on which type of reaction takes place. Then the line extrapolated portion of the curve gives initial and equivalence point, and its distance along the x-axis or along the volume axis gives volume of titrant which is consumed one. The vertical line BB dash is the temperature used to evaluate enthalpy change. This is about the interpretation of the curve. There are some factors affect the thermometric titration. First one is the heat loss or gain from the outside the system via vessel. Secondly, the difference in temperature between titrant and titrant before beginning the titration. Third one is the evaporative losses from surface of rapidly mixed fluid. Next factor is heat of solution when titrant mixed with the analyte. Heat introduced by the mechanical action of stirring. Finally, the heat produced by thermistor itself. What are the advantages of thermometric titration? Thermometric titration not depend on free energy. It has a well-defined endpoint for weak acid. The change in temperature depends on enthalpy of reaction. The lowest limit of concentration that can be successfully titrated by the technique is 0.0001 molar. All acids with dissociation constant greater than or equal to 10 to the power 10 can be titrated in 0.01 molar solution with the precision of 1%. The first application is titration of HCl with NaOH. A known volume of HCl to be estimated is taken in the Dewar flask. The titrant NaOH solution is added from the burette. Temperature readings are recorded for different volumes of the titrant added. The thermogram is obtained by plotting temperature versus volume of titrant added. The neutralization point is indicated by a sharp inflection point. Here it is C. An important application of thermometric titration is it is not based on the change in free energy. We know the reaction to be spontaneous or feasible, the delta G value must be negative. But using thermometric titration technique, we can perform a reaction with a negative delta G value. Since this type of titration is not based on the consideration of the free energy change and hence on the equilibrium constant of the reaction, delta H and not delta G is measured in this method. So, thermometric titrimetry give useful results even when delta G is 0 or positive. For example, the neutralization of boric acid, delta G value is minus 6.5 calories per mole. For the titration of boric acid against NaOH, which cannot be successfully done by any method that depend on the pH, thermometric method can be adopted successfully. Complexometric titration can be done by thermometric titrimetry. Consider the titration of calcium and magnesium with EDTA. By adopting normal procedure, by taking calcium salt and magnesium salt in the conical flask and EDTA in the burette. And by using the indicator, we can find the endpoint. From the titer value, we can calculate only the total concentration of Ca2 plus and Mg2 plus ions. It will not give concentration of Ca2 plus ion and concentration of Mg2 plus ion individually, because the stability constant of the chelates differ by less than 2 orders of magnitude, so that titration based on indicator can give only the sum of the concentration of the two ions. The reaction of Mg2 plus with EDTA, the enthalpy is plus 5.5 kilocalories per mole, whereas that for the Ca2 plus ion reaction is minus 5.7 kilocalories per mole. This distinct difference in delta H values makes it possible for the adaptation of thermometric titration. For estimating these two ions, look at the figure. The titration curve for this mixture is shown. The titration was started at point A and showed a calcium endpoint. It is extrapolated to B and a magnesium endpoint is at C. The portion CD represents the excess reagent. Thermometric titrimetry is particularly suited to the determination of a range of analytes where a precipitate is formed by reaction with the titrant. For example, titration with silver nitrate. Thermometric titration of silver nitrate with halides and cyanide are all possible. The reaction of silver nitrate with chloride is strongly exothermic. For instance, the reaction enthalpy of Ag plus with Cl minus is a high minus 61.2 kilojoules per mole. This permits convenient determination of chloride with commonly available standard 0.1 mole per liter silver nitrate. The endpoints are very short, and with care chloride concentrations down to 15 mg per liter can be analyzed. Bromide and chloride may be determined in admixture. Only a significant number of redox reactions have been studied by thermometric titration technique. Most of the work has been carried out with steric ions. The oxidation of oxalic acid and ferrocyanide ion by permanganate ions has also been studied by this technique. Many reactions in aqueous medium can be carried out by using thermometric titration technique. For example, formaldehyde can be determined in electroless copper plating solutions by the addition of an excess of sodium sulfide solution and titrating the liberated hydroxyl ion with standard acid. Thermometric titration can be carried out in non-aqueous medium. Besides in water, titrations have been reported in acetic acid, carbon tetrachloride, benzene and nitrobenzene. The precision of a thermometric titration is usually plus or minus 1%. For example, a thermometric titration method in non-aqueous medium is proposed for the assay of amines, that is triethylamine, isopropylamine, N-propylamine, di-N-propylamine, tri-N-propylamine, N-butylamine, di-N-butylamine, tri-N-butylamine, piperidine, pyridine and aniline in 1,2-dichloroethane solvent at room temperature with antimony pentachloride as the titrant. The method was found to be highly accurate, having a relative standard deviation of less than 1%. Apart from this, there are so many applications we can find in many sources.